There's a long history of tea in Korea, and one of the most popular teas that we drink is 녹차, or green tea. And I'm making it from the garu 녹차, which is green tea powder, which is 100% green tea leaves that have been pulverized literally down to the point where they're a really fine powder. And this is the first ingredient that I need to make my green tea chiffon cake. And chiffon cake always starts out with eggs. Now, the difference between chiffon cake and angel food cake is that in chiffon, you use the yolks as well as the whites. And it's very important to do this method of 3 bowls when you're separating your eggs because you're using a lot of eggs. And the second you get any fat into your whites, you can't use it. So keep everything clean and separated. And once this is clean, then you can mix it with the other whites.
To make my meringue base, I tip the 7 egg whites into a clean mixing bowl and gradually add enough sugar to help the whites form stable medium peaks.
I always like to finish it off by hand. Perfect little curl at the end. That's how you tell it's medium peak. Stiff peak will be straight up. Now I'm just going to mix together a few dry ingredients. I've got my cake flour, which I'm going to mix with some baking powder. So there is a bit of chemical leavener as well. A pinch of salt. Don't forget about salt in your sweet baking too. Egg yolks. Pour those in.
To the 7 egg yolks, I gradually add the rest of the sugar and beat on high speed until pale and fluffy. Then, I slowly pour in 70 milliliters of vegetable oil in a thin, steady stream.
And this is where I add my green tea too. I can smell the green tea also. That's going to make a gorgeous chiffon cake. I'm going to turn the speed up. Not too much because there's a lot of liquid in here now, so it's going to start splashing around. Just so it's incorporated. And that's done. I'm going to take this dry mix and mix it in with my egg yolk mixture. About 1/3 at a time. Carefully fold it around. Add a bit more. And the secret to getting this right is really just being as gentle as possible. Take your time and really put a little bit of love in this cake. Koreans in general don't bake that much, but I think that things like a green tea chiffon cake would do really, really well in Korea. And so that's fully incorporated, and you see my gorgeous green tea color here. And I'm going to mix that very carefully with my meringue. Let's just sacrifice a bit of your meringue first. You always want to make the 2 mixtures incorporate better. You want to keep all of that air, so literally just cut and fold through. And then I'm going to slowly incorporate this green tea mixture into my meringue, about 1/4 at a time. You want to be really gentle at this point, not to lose all the air. And I'm going to pour this now into my angel food cake mold. I have oiled this, and that is going to go into an oven for about 1 hour. Even when you place it in the oven, do it gently to not disrupt the air. And that's been in there for about 1 hour. Ooh, and you can see it's risen quite nicely. And you're going to turn it over. Don't even attempt to unmold this cake until it is completely cool, because it will rip apart. You can serve this just with a cup of tea, but I like to make mine into something grander, so I'm going to make chantilly cream.
To make the chantilly cream, I start out with a couple of spoonfuls of icing or powdered sugar to taste, to which I add double or heavy cream and the seeds from a split vanilla pod.
Then give it a whirl. And this goes really quickly, so do watch it. So that's my chantilly, really nice and silky. And our chiffon cake is completely cool. As you can see, I can touch it. Just run an offset spatula carefully around the sides, and that should come right out. And you gotta do the center, and then flip it over gently, but support it with your other hand. It should come out. Bit of cake, some chantilly on top, peaches. This is a bit of my green tea chiffon cake. In Korea, you give a lot of presents when you go over people's houses. You never show up empty-handed. And this would be the best thing to bring over.